Welcome to Scary Time by Indie Drop-In Network. Each week we feature an episode from the best independent creators. Subscribe for great scary content. If you would like to help support indie creators, check out our Patreon at the bottom of the show notes. Today's episode is from Ghosted with Criss and Paige. Don't forget to check out the show notes for links to subscribe and follow on social media. Enjoy the show.
Begin. Welcome back to another episode of Ghosted with Criss and Paige.
Hello.
I am Paige.
Hello, I'm Criss.
And today we have Nick Rucci.
Hi, thank you guys for having me.
Of course, welcome. Oh, we are excited to have you on. For everyone who recognizes the last name Rucci, we had a few episodes ago your brother Damien, which is super awesome. So we're super glad to have you here today.
Yeah, super happy. I've been looking forward to this since he got out of the studio. So
yeah, I'm just excited. We're back in action, recording, doing what we got to do.
Oh my God! So, the side note before I forget, actually, he was the guest right before the fire happened at the building. And
that's right.
Yep.
You know, that's what we get for talking about magic with a K.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, also on that note, everything in our place was fine. So knock, knock, knock.
I'll find wood. Here's wood.
There it is. Oh yeah, there it is. As I knock on the outer shelf. Oh Lord. But yes, so welcome. So yes, we're here to hear your stories.
Yeah, we're
excited.
Here.
I'm animated today. I'm so sorry.
So, so I think Damien mentioned we lived in a haunted house for a bit.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
So the thing is, like, I was there before he was. So my grandmother took me to, while they were cleaning, and we were the ones that found the journal from the guy, and I was the one that found it.
Oh my God.
And of course, I'm looking through it, and I thought it was like supposed to be like a picture book or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like 7, and I just handed it to my grandmother, going like, oh, here, there's a book, and she goes, oh, this is a journal, and of course, I'm 7, I'm like, I don't know what a journal is.
Yeah, it's like, what?
So she and my mom are reading it out loud, and my grandmother is just somebody who has no filter, even with kids. So she's like, I can't go on without her. God, why did she make me do this? Blah, blah, blah. And my mom's like, Mom, thinking, don't, not in front of Nick. So they're like, so the two of them, they walk in the other room. I'm sitting on the, on the stairs. And of course, I was the one that first had the paranormal experience. I was sitting there playing with my toys, and a shirtless little boy, runs past with a dog. And of course, I'm like half asleep, so I think maybe I'm just dreaming it, whatever. Yeah. And then a year later, we got a dog. And Damien loved to torture me with my dog, so he would have her like bite me in the ass, and stuff. Oh, God. So one day I'm running, like I got out of the shower, I go to, get dressed. He steals one of my shirts, gives it to my dog, and I'm chasing after her. But I'm like, this is like deja vu.
Oh.
Yeah. It was.
Whoa. I just had that like little light bulb.
The light bulb just fucking ding.
Yeah. And I tried to tell Damien, and Damien of course goes, no, you're just imagining it. Like a lot of times when it happened to me, Damien just always was like, well, Nick, I'm not gonna freak this kid out. So he's like, no, Nick, you imagined it. And then when that drawing appeared on his wall, here's the weird thing, right? I remember being the one drawing it, but when I tried to tell my family, they were like, no, Nick, you were asleep when it was on the wall. And a lot of stuff like that happened in my life. I would have dreams about stuff that I could not have known about, and I would just know. And they'd be like, no, you could have known that.
Oh no!
Oh, yeah. That's a whole different type.
Yeah,
whoa.
It's cool to get the other side of what happened in your house. We got your brother's side, now your side. That's so weird. Oh, I'm excited.
Oh my God.
And my room was the creepiest. When we first moved in, there was nothing in my room except for this glass cabinet that had a doll and a music box, and the song we played was The Entertainer. So it was all broken. So when I wind it up, it would go.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, creepy.
No, thank you.
Oh my God, that's the worst. There's just a curio with a fucking doll and
We were in an antique store earlier today, and either a clock or a music box started going off, and I just looked around. I was like, no, we're in an antique store. Everything's haunted. No, thank you.
It was happening while we were looking at the glass dolls. So I was just like, this is the worst possible time for any kind of like janky music to be playing right now.
No, thank you.
Wow, so your room already started off like scary as hell. Yeah.
And see, Damien, he had the big room. Like his literally was separated from the rest of the house with its like sliding door.
Yeah.
So Damien was like living in luxury. I'm like in this creepy room, and it was like top of the I couldn't see past the windows.
Yeah.
So high up. So yeah, so like the house was like spooky as all hell. And I used to like hang out in Damien's room because I didn't like my room. So I was watching that show Nifty Classified.
Yeah.
When they first it started airing it. So I'm watching it, feeling so good, and suddenly, boom, goes up super loud. And Damien runs in, he's like, Nick, you gotta turn it down. Jane's gonna flip, and Jane's my stepdad.
Yeah.
So then, I'm trying to turn it down, but it won't work. And my stepdad comes in to yell at us, and he goes, guys, you have to turn it down. And suddenly went mute.
Oh.
And he was like, he makes a joke, it must be a death ghost. And it goes all the way up, right? And then it goes to the opera channel. And then suddenly the power goes out.
Oh, God.
And then we thought, there must be some sort of... He runs outside, and no other house is affected except for ours.
Oh, no. Oh, no. No, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Chris's face.
Yeah, it's just fuck that noise, man. Whoa.
Yeah. It's and eventually they used to leave me home alone sometimes. So Damien's out with his friends, my mom and my stepdad are out, and I go up into my mom's room to get something, and I find this box full of pictures, and I knew what I was going to find at the bottom, and I remember finding a picture of my grandparents on my dad's side. And it was the weirdest thing, and my mom was like, I thought I threw those away, because, I gave those to your dad, so, And I was like, what? Yeah, and I'm like, and I just found them. Like, they were just like bottom of this box. My mom didn't even know it was in the room.
Oh, that's weird.
Oh, no, but you just had that feeling you were going to.
Yeah, I just that's kind of how I was when I was a kid. I'd have these weird feelings, or I'd get these weird dreams, and
the intuition.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, it sounds like a premonition type thing.
And then when I was 11, something really spooky happened. So I used to go to surgeries to get a tube put out of my ear. No big deal. They put me under for like an hour. I'd wake up. Well, the last time it happened, I was 11. I remember I was having this weird dream while I was under, and the doctors, they're just doing their thing, and then suddenly one of the doctors goes, "What the hell is that?" Oh my God, and they're like screaming. And when I was a kid, I remember I thought it was like Venom from Marvel Comics, and it was like, and I was like, this is a really weird fucking dream. And then when I woke up, my mom's all sad and whatnot. I'm like, what's wrong? My mom's like, well, we got to take you to a heart doctor. They found something wrong with your heart. And I tried to tell her about the dream. My mom's like, you must have heard something before they put you under. But I'm like, no. I'm like, I remember the conversation I had while I was under, and it was that. And then they found out that I had like a bad heart. They had to fix it. And
what?
Yeah.
And you're only 11 at the time.
Yeah.
Too. What the fuck?
That's wild.
And then what was it? Like afterwards, I was like fine for a bit, and then I started hanging out with this one girl, and her sister was psychic. And I didn't believe it though, because her sister was like always telling me like these stuff that like anybody can figure out. Then one day, she started doing like a aura sketch of me.
Yeah,
and she showed me it's like blue, but then she started drawing these like black bubbles all over. And she told me, I don't actually know what this means, but when I look at your aura, I just see these black bubbles. And she said it might mean I'm touched by death, or that I'm gonna die soon.
No.
And so
I'm like, I need you to stop talking. Like, take your picture, shred it.
Exactly. And then 13, I'm walking with Damien to school, and I start getting like really tired. And Damien's like, "Come on, bro, we're running late. We gotta go." So I'm like trying to catch up, and then every 5 minutes I'm just like. And then when I get to school, I fall down the stairs. And Damien's right about to walk into his class, and he goes, "Oh, what the fuck?" Picks me up, throws me over his shoulder, and he tells everybody, "Call 911, call 911. And everybody did, and the cops thought there was like a shooting. Because they're like, why was that many kids call 911 to a school unless somebody's shooting it up? Turns out that my heart condition wasn't fixed, and the blood started pumping into my lungs.
Oh!
I was being choked.
Whoa!
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit, Nick.
So
what?
So the doctors, they were like, oh, we gotta fix this now, or you're gonna, So when when I did the surgery, everything started going well. Mm-hmm. But then the problem happened. My heart started swelling when it was taken out of my chest, and they could not put it back in. They're like, we got to take them off the machines. We got to put them on deep freeze. What? So I was dead for 14 minutes.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Get the what? What?
Yeah, you need to put your hat back on.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Wow!
Yeah. So 14 minutes, I'm dead, and I had a dream though. That thing. Like I told my brother, I had this dream while I was
under.
Yeah.
Like quite literally under.
Yeah. And it was the weirdest thing. I was just sitting on a swing with this girl, and I don't know who she was, and to this day I still don't know who she is. But while we're swinging, we're on this like dark beach, and then suddenly this voice goes, "He has to go now." She goes, "No, you promised me he could stay." And this girl like keeps screaming. Then when I wake up, I just remember this light being shined into my eye, and the doctor's like, "Nick, can you hear me? Can you hear me?" And he tells the joke, how much does a polar bear weigh? And he goes, enough to break the ice. And the doctor goes, no, he's not responding. He's not responding. And they're like, I think it's brain death. And then, what was it? Like maybe an hour later, I vomited. I just threw up, and suddenly I was like, and I was awake. I was conscious again. And the doctor was like, "Oh my god!" And he said, "Oh, it's a miracle. It's like a miraculous recovery."
Yeah.
And
Holy shit!
What in the
but he didn't believe me when I told him that I was conscious when he was shining the light in my eye. He was like, "Oh no, that's impossible. You couldn't have been conscious. You couldn't have been."
Nah, man, you told a joke.
Yeah. And I tried to tell him that. He goes, "Oh, your mother must have said that to you." I'm like, "No, man." I'm like, I heard it. Like, I remember your joke. Like,
what the fuck?
Yeah. And then, of course, my mom refused to leave my bedside. So So that night, though, my mom's like half asleep. She's trying to stay awake, and she doesn't want me to like pass in my sleep, and she's afraid. And then she starts hearing these voices like, "It's okay, Caroline, you can go to sleep now. We're with him. We're going to watch him." And my mom's like, she knows the voices, but she just can't put her finger on it. So she just kind of drifts off to sleep.
Comforting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it was my Grandma Eleanor, my father's mother, my Aunt Pat, who was passed, and my mom's grandparents. So they were like, "It's okay, we have him, you can go to sleep." And my mom was worried, though, that meant they were gonna.
Yeah.
But then when she woke up, I was alive and well, and I was fine.
Oh my god.
Man, I would hate to fall asleep with that. Like, yeah, but also, oh, wow. Holy crap. I never met, other than your dad, Paige, I've never met anyone who's
seen the light.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad hey, do you remember what surgery it was? Because I actually don't. His ankle surgery.
Yeah.
My dad has like really messed up ankles and knees, and he remembers, I guess, I don't know if it was in the middle of surgery, he had issues, and he just remembers a really warm sensation and just light. And then they brought him back. Like my mom, they were like I think they told my mom like, "Oh, like we've had some complications. Like he's good though. Like we got everything under control." And then my dad's like, "Yeah, everything was just warm. It was just bright. What?" My dad's so nonchalant about it. He's like, whatever. I'm like, "But Dad, the light." And I think. Yeah, that must have been his ankle surgery. My dad, like I said, my dad's had a few surgeries. Like there's a surgery he had when I was in 5th grade that no one told me about until I got home from school. "Oh, your dad's surgery went well." I'm like, "When did he get surgery?" I was like, "What in the fuck?" And they're like, we just didn't want to worry you. I'm like, "Then why are you telling me?" I'm like, "What?"
It's cool because we're slowly turning her dad into the Terminator.
He really, truly is. Screws his ankle. He's getting a double knee replacement, both knees. Like, he's about to be.
He's going to be the $6 billion man.
For reals.
But it's just, wow, that's really weird. And the fact that, this is all, by the time you're 13?
Yeah, about 13 going on 14.
The life you have lived so far, my God.
How old are you now?
Holy shit.
I am 24.
Okay.
Oh my God.
You're younger than me. Wow. I couldn't imagine going through any of that at my... What?
And in the middle of you're having all these, intuitive moments. That's just so crazy to me. And like you guys, your family's truly like filled with spirit, and it's so cool.
Your family's spellbound for sure.
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't know a lot about the whole when it came to my mother, the magic thing. She waited till I was a little older. Amy apparently knew from like. Because, like, at one point, there was like a Ouija board that my mom used to have, one of those toy ones.
Yeah.
And, like, so I went from, like, I'm sneaking out of a room, and I'm, like, trying to play with it. And my mom's like, yeah, well, that's nothing like the real one. I'm like, it is the real one. Then my mom told me, oh, I had the spirit board, but I had to give it away, and it can only be passed from woman to woman.
Yeah. Women of the coven.
Yeah, and of course, I'm like, I'm kind of bummed. I'm like, oh, man. I'm like, I kind of feel like Jip.
It's like, come on, Ma.
That's all of this just surrounding all of you guys. It's so cool to just be like fully immersed in it, and at the same time it's also a little bit spooky because how do you explain to people, sometimes the things just kind of work out, but I've seen them before, like that's it's wild. That's wild is the only answer, just because I'm speechless by what you're telling me right now.
Yeah, no, I'm reeling off of it. I'm like, you went through so much. Like, oh my God. And then you heard, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, you heard that joke. Like, I'm mad at this doctor right now. Like, hello. There's been plenty of people, like, you hear stories about that. Like, people being, like, the doctors and all their family think they're not there. And it's like, no, I've heard everything, which is so bone chilling.
Wasn't there one guy who was catatonic? He was a vegetable for like 26 years.
Something like that.
And then he came back, and the first thing he was like, I fucking hate Barney. And because they only left Barney on for him to watch the whole entire time.
That's just rude.
Yeah, that's just torture.
Right?
I leave TV on for my dog. He gets a variety of shows. I don't want him to get bored.
The Food Network.
Yeah. Sometimes Home Shopping Network, sometimes Food Network, sometimes HGTV. He needs a variety.
But
so like
Barney, man, what?
That's just a slap in the face.
Exactly. Yeah.
Damn.
But like he came back and he was like, yeah, no, I was there. I just couldn't do any of my physical. Yeah. My brain wasn't just giving off that signal.
The body was truly a prison.
Yeah. Yeah,
no, I was like, I don't like that.
No, I like free control of my extremities and my phalanges. And my
phalanges.
Ooh. Wow.
Well, holy shit.
So that's like to your life up to like 13, 14. Has that, what's happened since? Like,
yeah.
Well, see, I never had any more of the dreams, but after my grandpa's death, I didn't have any more. Like before he died, I did have a weird dream about something bad happening to him, and then Damien wakes me up and he goes, "Oh yeah, Nick, we gotta go to the hospital. Pop's hurt real bad." And I said to Damien, shut the fuck up. And I go to sleep. Because Damien would always tell me, oh, Nick, oh, man, Mom got you a bad car crash, brother. Oh, God. Oh, Nan fell down the stairs and she cracked her head.
Oh, my God. Damn it, Damien.
So he was like, mess with me all the time. So, like, when he told me my grandpa was, like, hurt, I was like, shut the fuck up. And I go back to sleep. And then he kept waking me up. And I was like, that was like the last time where I'm like, I dreamt something bad was happened, and then it did.
Yeah.
But other times I've been like conscious, like that is one story I've never told anybody in my school.
Ooh, super exclusive.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you heard it here first.
Well, what happened was I had this friend, my senior year of high school. I had this friend who he was going through a tough time, and now he had like tan skin. And one day he comes to school completely pale white. He had red bags under his eyes. And all my other friends were like, "Oh, he just sick." But he's like mumbling shit to me, and he's like, at one point he goes, "The voices in my head are telling me I have to kill them all. I have to kill them all." And none of my friends, like, they're hearing all this, and they're just like, bullshit. And he's just being like a little pansy, and I'm like, I had a bad feeling, like a really bad one. So I've never wanted to be a snitch in school, but I was my guidance counselor, so I figured if I go to her, nothing bad's gonna happen. So I just go, I'm really worried about him. He's saying some shit.
Voicing concern. Yeah.
So then I get home and I get a call from the cops. And they're like, "Are you Nick Rucci?" I'm like, "Yes." He's like, "Do you go to Keyport High School?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they tell me that basically they went to my friend's house and they went to knocked on the door. His parents answered, and they asked the dad, like, "Do you own a gun?" And the dad goes, "Of course I own a gun. It's mine. I have every right to own a gun." And the cop's like, "Yeah, okay, yeah. Well, did your son have access to it?" And he goes, "Yeah, I gave him the combo in case anybody ever breaks in when I'm not home, and my wife, and him are in danger." So the cop goes, "All right, can we see your gun?" So they go in, they open up the gun case, and it's gone.
Oh.
And the ammo inside's gone. And they go to my friend's room, and they open up the backpack, and the gun and the ammo's there. And he was planning on shooting up my school.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Shit.
And I just fucking I felt bad because I was like, he went, he lost his mind, and I had this bad feeling all day in school. I was because I was like this. I knew he was a peaceful kid, though. He never hurt nobody. He never got picked on either, but I was like, so all the things where I'm like, oh, he's not going to actually go to school, but I'm like, but I had this feeling like he's going to do it. So I was like, I went to the teacher, and then, the cop you did a really good thing. Your friend's going to get help. He's like, he's not in trouble. We sent him to a psychiatric facility. He's going to get some help. And then the next day I go to school, my principal's like, "Nick, you're here." I'm like, "No, I'm not here." I'm mad. I'm like, I felt like, and I asked him, "Don't say nothing. Don't tell nobody in my school."
Yeah.
Nothing.
And
I get
but it's like I felt bad because he started going through a tough time afterwards.
Yeah.
Whatever was wrong with him, he wasn't getting the help. But it's like at that moment, I saved them from getting shot up.
Yeah, that feeling right there. That instinct.
Not only your other classmates and schoolmates, but him.
Yeah.
The problem was he had a girlfriend who was kind of whispering in his ear.
Oh,
Yeah, that's never good.
He was the one who she said she was psychic, right? And but all the stuff he was saying he saw and heard was fake. He was like, "Oh, our school used to be a boarding school for girls back in World War II, and got converted into a." I'm like, "This school was never a boarding school for girls." What? And he was like, "Oh, and the ghosts." I'm like, yeah, I'm like, "There's one ghost here, but it's not the ghost you're talking about." Because my brother told me the story about the teacher who was a girl. I'm like, I know, I knew about that, but the girl's like, "Oh yeah, a janitor went crazy." I'm like, "Oh, what janitor did he go crazy?" And everybody's like, "Oh, Nick, you're just a skeptic." I'm like, "I'm not a skeptic. I'm just, I know when you're lying."
Yeah.
So,
I just call him like I see him.
Oh man, you always trust your gut. Always trust that intuition. Trust yourself. No one knows you better than you. And if you're feeling off about something,
Yeah, I think that's honestly the smartest thing to do, is because in that time, that's a hard decision regardless of the situation, regardless of who you are.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're even able to do that is fucking strong as hell.
Yeah.
And it's just it shows time after time, man. Your personality is just strong enough to keep pushing through it. It's wow. What a crazy life you've had. You're only 24.
Yeah.
That's wild. Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, I've never even see, I wish I had I don't have any kind of perception. I don't have any kind of premonition. I don't have the ability to I don't know.
The foresight into
any type of, true connectedness. I've had experiences before, but I'm not as connected, say, Paige is or, anyone else. And it's always mind boggling to me when it happens to someone. They're like, "Yeah, I was the skeptic too." And after all of that, I just don't know how you wake up and I'm like, "All right, what's next today?" Right?
It's like secondhand nature. You don't think of it as something. It just happens.
Second nature.
Yeah.
It's like a subconscious thing.
Yeah, basically, it's what when I was younger, in high school and stuff, middle school to mid high school, I would have dreams and premonitions and stuff. I actually had a summer. I think it's 7th going into 8th. I lost 5 people. 5 people died on one summer, and my dog. And it was a lot. And I had all these dreams. I kept saying something bad's gonna happen, something bad. I just had that feeling. I just knew something bad was gonna happen. one of our friends from elementary school was hit by a train. Then like my cousins lost like their grandparents. Like there was another like a cousin or an uncle who had passed, and then my dog had passed. Like it was so crazy because like I could just be like, this is gonna happen, and then a few days or a week later something would happen every time, and it was always so weird. Or like I think I don't know if I've talked about this. I always would go by the park by my house like in middle school and like I think it was middle school, and I always would get really sad and feel like I was gonna cry and like something bad happened here, and then they apparently had found a body and like that was buried from like in the 50s or something like that. I'd been buried there a long time, and then after that I felt fine. Like I'm not sad anymore. It was like just really weird really weird things like that, and like
you were a receiver for that residual like sadness and despair from the park, which is crazy because the fact that you could even just like sense something like that, you know. I feel like I know we have more than 5 senses, but I feel like sometimes I only have 5 senses.
I get that now. I feel that more now because I'm less into like I still have my gut intuitions, but not like I did when I was younger. Nothing near like when I was younger. Like I mean, I think we talked about it too. Lenore, our first guest, Lenore, my best friend.
Yes.
I called out. I remember we're driving past a house with her and her brother. I'm like, someone died in that house of like something with the lungs, and it was her brother's friend's father who died from like some like fluid in the lungs or cardiac. Yes, there it is. And it's just like, how would you know that? I'm like, I don't know how I know that.
I'm just upset.
Or I used to work at the radio station, and one day I was like, I'm gonna try reading palms because I'm a little shit, and I thought I could just do it. But then I started calling things out that I couldn't have known, which was really odd because I scared myself. Like I was like, I can do this. I read a Cosmo magazine on basic palm reading, and then I was like, I can do this. And then like I called out like my friend almost getting hit by a car and dying when he was young, and I wouldn't have known that. Or like my other friend about something with his cousin had passed away or had just passed away. It was a really long time ago, but I just remember everyone being like, shut the fuck up. Like you need to stop this. Or I said our studios were haunted in New York, and I was like, there's something with us. Well, lo and behold, they moved to LA, and a new studio had Patty Negri, who is a very famous psychic, on, and she said the same thing. A spirit followed them from the last studio to that one, and I was like, I told you.
Nothing like some sweet I told you so.
Yo, for reals though, I was like, bam, there it is. Drop the mic. But yeah, so back in the day, like, it's always in you, like, I always feel like it's when you're going through puberty and stuff, like your emotions are already running high, but if you're sensitive, you're really sensitive. So that's when you're really feeling it. And that's why I feel like now I'm just like an old lady, and I'm like, I feel stuff. I get gut intuitions, but like not like I used to. Not dreams anymore. The dreams went away from me too. Craziness.
Oh man. Yeah, like even anything like that, I've never, I like when I can walk into a room and be like, something's peculiar, but never like, something bad's gonna happen, we should go.
Well, that was earlier today too. I saw a very weird, I don't know what was happening. It was an older guy, and like,
oh yeah,
I don't know if it was maybe their son or just someone younger with them, and the situation looked weird. We were across the street at Criss's house, and I just saw them hunched over by a fence. And I was like, my gut immediately was like, something weird's happening and you should drive by. So that's the way I went to drive when we were leaving. And the older person just stared at me as we drove. They specifically just stopped and stared, and I just stared back. And then they started walking off, and I was like, Criss, was that odd? He's on his phone. I'm like, hello? Did you not think that was weird? Okay. He just wasn't answering me. I was like, all right, well, I'm going to say that was weird. He's like, what? And I was like, all right.
I didn't know. I thought it was just like inconspicuous. There's an old person shunning a little kid, he's gonna, but I guess. No, it wasn't they were adults, but there's one older person and one younger person. Okay. It was just odd. Like, you just got that, I just had that gut instinct that something was a little weird, and so I stared them down. Before, so
I've never seen them in the neighborhood before.
That was one thing.
That is weird.
Yeah. Or like when that van last week. There was a van. Remember that service van? Yeah. That sketchy ass van?
There was a van that definitely looked like someone had like bought an old service van, but kept the fact that it was like a service van on there and been using it for something else. Yeah,
it was like, it was packed. You could see like the back windows. You could see things were all the way to the top of the van, like inside. And they were just idling on the corner. And I was walked out of Chris's house, and I'm
even their like passenger seat was filled with stuff. Yeah,
and like, yeah, I was just like, I've never seen them before, so I'm a nosy person. I want to know what's happening.
Oh, same here.
I'm like, hello, hi, how's it going? Who are you?
Because I thought they were gonna like service. I don't know what they were gonna service, but I thought they were gonna service.
I thought they maybe were lost or something, because they're just idling on like the corner, but not like they're in the middle of the street kind of too. And I'm like,
yeah,
okay.
It wasn't just like it was kind of off the corner, like 10 feet from the corner.
Yeah, so and I'm at my car. I'm walking to get into my car. I'm grabbing my keys, and Criss walks out. And it wasn't until Criss got to like the edge of my car by me that they peeled out. I mean, they just took off, and I was like, we looked at each other. We're like, what the fuck was that? So you had a little bit of an intuitive moment, because that made you sketchy too. We were just like, what the fuck was that?
When you see one of those sketchy vans,
yeah, that's true. It's ingrained in us.
Yeah, I'm just like, that van looks a little sketchy. But this one in particular, just because it had so much stuff packed past the windows, you know, like you kind of need, especially in those vans, you need to see.
Oh, definitely.
So I don't understand why you would fill your passenger seat up so you really can't see it on your right side and you only have one.
And we haven't seen it since. I haven't seen it anywhere. Like I'm always on the lookout. I'm always like,
There's a mystery machine by my house, like the old Scooby-Doo car. I see that way more than I see.
I love that one.
But like, yeah, I haven't seen this thing come back ever.
First and last time, but it was just odd.
I experienced like that once. 18, I just woman followed me around in the silver car, and yeah, so I thought I was just imagining it, and then one of my friends like, oh hey, is your girlfriend gonna come in? Because the car was like parked right in front of his house, and then the moment he sees her, she speeds off.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, so I gotta stalk her. And some girl from high school called me up one day just to fuck with me. She did, oh hey, yeah, your ex-girlfriend's mom following you around. I'm like,
what?
Yeah, this girl was like obsessed, like with just like messing with me. So I'm like ignoring it. Then one day I'm leaving my job at Dollar Tree, walk outside, silver car's parked there.
Oh,
and there's no customers. We closed down the store. So I'm like, this is weird. And anytime we leave a car, we have to report it. So we're walking past the car, and I see crutches, a wheelchair, a bunch of medical equipment, anesthetic. And I decided to tell my two managers, like, yeah, this car's been following me around
for a while.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
They called the cop, and the cop asked me, oh, do you feel comfortable enough, driving home alone? And of course, me, I don't want to look like scared little boy in front of my two older bosses. So I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm fine. Yeah. And then the next day, the cops apparently called the woman, called my boss, and they were like, oh, she said it's just a misunderstanding. And I never saw her after that.
Yeah.
But I
bet you money it was a misunderstanding.
Oh, definitely. I was like, I thought a misery was going to happen.
Yeah, so did I.
I was going to wake up and be like, I'm your number one fan.
See, whenever I think of that, it's just like you're going to wake up in like an ice bath.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, in a random seedy motel, and it's like, where's my kidney? No, I've been I used to work. I worked a full female employee staff at a male's clothing store. All of us have a story about being followed, but someone followed me, and I'm telling everyone, someone's following me home. Like, I don't feel comfortable. My dad started like driving me to and from work. I had to call the cops a few times to come to the store because I'd have to close by myself, and there'd be people in the parking lot not leaving, all that stuff. And finally, right before or right after Christmas, someone broke into my house while I was home alone getting ready for work. And they didn't take anything. My dog scared them off, thankfully. And they ran out, didn't take a thing.
Didn't they just knock on the door?
So the way my house is, as I give everyone the layout of my house. Yeah, you walk in, you go through some hallways, you go to the kitchen. Our bathroom's off the kitchen. I'm taking a shower, I'm getting ready for work. And my dog, rest in peace, I love her, Abby. Oh, she's the best. She doesn't growl. She doesn't bark much. She didn't really ever.
No, she didn't do.
I could hear her through taking a shower with the door closed with the music on blasting, her growling. And that was not right. So I was like, shit, something's wrong. Grab towel, grab clothes. I turn off everything, and I hear footsteps slowly walking to my door. And then I have the stove is right next to the door to the bathroom, and there's
because I like to cook from the throne.
So we had the metal covers for the stove top, the burners, and I hear someone stop right at the door, and I hear them slam their hand down onto the metal covers, and I'm like, all right, it's either fight or die. And so what I did, I was like, I'm gonna scare them off. I rammed myself as hard as I could into the bathroom door to scare them, to throw them off, and that scared my dog, and she chased them out. And the door was slightly like, it wasn't locked. I had locked the door too, like the front door, and it was open. Didn't take anything, and I never got followed after that. It was the last time I got followed from that job.
Damn.
It was crazy. And everyone's like, no, like maybe you imagine it. Maybe you just left the door unlocked. I'm like, I know what happened.
This time it wasn't paranormal. I promise.
This time, yeah, because the spirits in my house have opened the doors in my house, like the back door. Criss was, there's a few weeks ago, we talked about it. Months ago, I mean. 5 a.m., something opened the back door, but it was completely locked, and there was nothing on the cameras and nothing on the...
Yeah, I jumped out of bed because I was like, what is going on? Why are they like...
It triggered the house alarm.
Went off, and I was like, ugh.
And you could see the door was pushed in, but the cameras, we have cameras all over the house now ever since we got broken into. Nothing touched the back door from the outside or the inside.
Yeah.
But you just see the door pushed inward as if someone tried to kick it in. And it's 3 locks on it. So it's, you can't just kick it. Like you have to force it. So we have no clue. And I'm like, paranormal. Yeah. And after that, we had a bunch of paranormal stuff popping up in my house. If you listen to episode 9 about the house update.
Okay. So I'm going to break down a little story here from yesterday.
Okay.
Didn't even tell Paige yet.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay.
Saving the goods. I see what's happening here.
Podcast exclusive. I'm sorry. Yesterday night, I was outside. I was bringing the dog out.
At me house.
At your house, yes, specifically.
At me house.
At your swamp. And in the backyard, I was just looking around, investigating. As I do, sometimes I'll just go out, walk around the perimeter because it's dark. And I swore to sweet baby G that someone ran across from behind your trailer in white to like your shed. And
which trailer?
From the band trailer.
The band trailer,
baby.
not the okay.
Yeah, from behind the trailer across your yard to the shed. But I am the only one out there. I promise you. Me and Mr. Chew, just chilling.
My dog's name is Pikachu. We call him Mr.
Chew. And he's like he's doing his own thing, looking for mice. And I was just like,
he does look for mice.
I didn't just see that.
Well, was it a woman?
It was a full figure body. I didn't see it.
I wonder if it was Murray.
Like it's bits. I didn't see with that going on, so I couldn't identify what it was. I just saw like
from behind the trailer,
a big old. And I'll do a demonstration. Sorry.
Oh, he's standing up. He's standing up.
It was walking like this,
like Bigfoot.
yeah, but it was fast.
But a fast Bigfoot. I mean, they have to be fast. It's really funny that you mentioned that because I
was out there. I was like longer, like 10, 15 minutes maybe. I was out there this time.
My backyard's fenced in, so it's really hard. We have like the pointy fence too, so you can't just jump over with them. Like it's hard. It's pretty tall and it's gonna be pointy. It hurts.
Yeah.
Especially where you're talking about. But it's funny you say that because
there's nothing there because like you can even check the cameras. There's a camera pointing.
There's a camera pointing at it and behind it.
Then you just see me turn around and be like.
No, that's really funny that you say that because I've been hearing talking like the bathroom window is the closest window besides the back door to that area. And I've been hearing talking and seeing a stream of light go by the window in the bathroom. So, and I've just been thinking it's either cars going down the street like or like, I don't know, like my neighbors with their disco ball, like something like that. Because I'll look outside, I don't see anyone though.
Her neighbors do have a disco ball in the back
They
porch.
do.
Oh,
pretty rad. Very nice.
Yeah, that's pretty groovy.
They have a TV, a disco ball. It's very fun.
Yeah, seriously. But
shout out, love you guys.
This time it was not the case because I was like, after that I got real paranoid. I was just like, but I'm alone. But I just saw something.
So when we go home, when I go home tonight, I'm checking the camera feed on the.
Oh, so you're gonna see me like this?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna see if we caught it on camera because I mean these cameras aren't the best, but they're.
Oh, they work. Oh, they work, baby. They work real well.
Huh. And Mr. Chew hasn't, so my dog loves to hide under that trailer. He hasn't been under that trailer in weeks.
Yeah.
He hasn't gone near it. So that's really interesting.
Huh. Yeah. Mr. Chew usually likes to go and get down all flat and go.
He looks like the girl from The Ring coming out when he comes out, but mixed with Pigpen because it's all dirt. So you have clouds of dirt coming out from him, but he also, the way he crawls out on his stomach with his legs coming out. Oh my God. He's a mess and I love him. But that's so
But yeah, that happened last night and I was just going to be like, I didn't want to freak you out, because we were about to go to bed. So it would have.
Are you kidding me? I would have sat outside next to the trailer with the ghost equipment.
For the rest of the night. We would not have slept, and then we would not have been here.
That's true. That's very true.
But yeah, I saw that. I wigged out a little bit, and I was like, okay, we're gonna go to sleep. We have a podcast tomorrow that I can talk about it on. We're gonna talk about it then when there are lights on, and there are people in the room present, so it's not just like, oh my God, there's someone at my house. There's not, but damn, did I think there was.
But that makes me excited because activity's kind of toned down a little bit. We had a big surge of activity, and it's toned down a bit.
There's social distancing. What do you mean?
My eyes haven't rolled back farther in so long. Every episode, I don't have anything to throw at you today.
I could say that the activity at your house has been a little more calm. We've been able to bake in peace, make food in peace.
Yeah, I've just heard music from the basement a few times and talking. That's it. Nothing else. My house is so haunted. It's 100 years old this year. And there's so much that's gone on. I'm not even going to get into it again. We'll talk about it after. I got some stories. But if you have any more stories, because we took over, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, Damien told you guys about that park that they used to.
We were talking about. Yes. We were over there today.
Well, Damien eventually grew up, so he stopped doing that. So of course, I had to take it over. And every year for Christmas, I used to get video cameras. So I was always trying to make movies. So me and my friends would go in with my video camera. We'd try to find something.
Yeah.
Well, we found this tunnel inside the park. And so my friends would always freak out about it, and they were like, "Oh man, that's so spooky in there." And they thought, and we saw something. We thought it was the face at the other edge of the tunnel. It took us a couple of years, but by the time I'm 14, my friend David's like, "Yeah, you know what? Today we're gonna go into this tunnel and we're gonna find out what that thing is." So we walk in, and immediately he screams like a little girl because he sees a bunch of spiders.
Oh, I'd scream too.
So he takes this thing of matches. He goes, "I'll just burn some of the spiders." Then he sees how many there are. So he goes, "Nick, you have an Axe spotting can spray, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Hand it to me." He tried to make a flamethrower out of
the spiders.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you what happened. He was in a close, tunnel. Fire, Axe body spray. His shirt's on fire, and I literally just throw him into the water because the tunnel has some water, and he's like, "Oh God, am I dead?" I'm like, "Bro," I'm like, "Calm down. You just lit your shirt on fire." But he was terrified, and then luckily he didn't get too far into the tunnel because there's a gigantic drop. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
But the thing is, we used to get lost in that, the Veterans Park because for some reason, even though it was not that big of a park, we kept getting lost in it. It was we'd get turned around and we'd hear stuff there was urban legends about this weird devil man that kidnapped girls, and he lived in a giant downed tree. So we were trying to find it, and
understandably, if you keep getting lost, you'd think, okay, maybe one of these turns, we're going to find this thing. But I would not want to. Your brother was talking about how it was perched on the tree in this unnatural manner. And I was like, it's a fucking gargoyle or it's something. But
yeah, we heard something about how he kidnapped these two girls who were walking home from soccer practice.
Oh, God.
And they were dragged into the woods and only one girl was ever found.
Oh!
Yeah. So, of course, me, I'm I'm into it. And then suddenly, because it was I'd leave the pool club. So these other kids were always "Well, Nick, where are you going?" And I'm "Oh, we're going to Veterans Park to look for the, the stuff." And he goes, and they'd be "What do you mean?" So I tell the story.
Yeah.
So more kids are "Can we go with you?" And then some of these girls started hearing it, and they were "Oh, Nick, can we go with you?" Of course, me, I'm go through puberty.
Yeah, you're "Yes, come with me."
Of course.
Ladies.
Yeah. And at one point, we went at night, and these girls are they're all close to me. Nick, I'm so scared. Of course, I'm loving it.
move. That's the move.
I loved it, but like weird stuff started happening. He's like, see, I was the only one that wasn't really afraid. Everybody else was, so I always had. I was like, turn fucking back. And then, you know, like I never found anything there, but like, you know, some weird shit. Like, you know, we get turned around. You know, like one time, like an hour went by, and I thought I was like, we're only been here for like 10 minutes. But like Damien said the same thing happened to him, and then like they disappeared for a bit.
That part, yeah.
I want to go.
You will explore. That's fine.
I want to go. I've been wanting to do something for Halloween. We haven't decided yet, like for the podcast, what we want to do. But like, if we get lost and record it.
Oh yeah. Hey, that might not be a bad idea. Huh. We're going to add that to the list.
We'll talk.
Yeah, we'll talk. My people talk to your people.
Oh, perfect. That's me and me, because I am your people and not my people, so we agree.
Oh, and I did just remember back when I was in Boy Scouts, right? So we do this thing where we retire flags for victims of 9/11. So, you know, we did, you know, have them all folded up. We'd announce their names, and then we put it in the fire. Yeah. Well, my stepdad went on a camping trip with us once. He was like taking pictures. So, you know, like my mom would like go through them on the, you know, computer. Well, one day she's like going through one, and she sees a picture of me, and my mom almost has a freaking stroke. She literally sees a blue figure like right behind me as I'm holding one of the flags.
What?
Yeah.
Oh no! Yeah, no.
I've done that once after going through pictures. I hate that. Oh, that's. Oh, yeah, full just blue, like, hello.
Oof.
Dude.
Like, I'm like, we were looking at it, and we're like, there's nothing, like, you know how some of the pictures can get all messed up? And we're like, no, that's not what this is. This literally looks like blue, like, light behind me. And it was, like, pitch dark. And the only thing that was lighted up was the campfire.
That's weird. Oh, I love that you had it on picture. That's great.
Yeah. I think the only thing worst is knowing that there's a blue man somewhere out in the forest.
Oh no, the extra member of the Blue Man Group got lost. Oh no.
He was on his way to the gig.
We need one less person. Bye.
You'll do fine in the woods. It's fine.
Chuck, we're sorry. We just, if you survive the woods, you can come back. Bye.
Remember to use your paint.
Oh, we're terrible.
Oh, hey, look at that. I think we got a pretty dope episode. Up there.
I mean, yeah, if you have any more stories or anything that you want to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, well, Damien and I used to babysit our nephew, and there was a few weird things that happened when we were babysitting him. Like, our sister lived in a apparently former slave home. And, I remember she had a psychic friend come in who told her that that used to be a plantation, and this house itself was like a horse stable. And they said about, like, there was this slave who was apparently, like, killed, and, like, just, like, thrown under the horses, and, like, the horses, like, pounced on him to death.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so, like, you know, we were, you know, I was, like, 13, and I'm like, it's just, you know, that's fine. And then weird stuff started happening with our nephew.
What?
Yeah. So, like, we used to babysit him, so, like, sometimes he'd be asleep. But one day he wakes up and he just, like, starts calling for my sister, which is, like, was something, like, he never did. Like, he knew me and my brother were there.
Yeah.
And he just goes, Mama, Mama, Mama. And he just, like, screaming. So we're calling our sister, and our sister's not picking up. And we're like, oh, fuck no. Like, and we call her, you know, we call her husband at the time, and he was like, yeah, I think he left already. So we're like, oh, fuck. And we're like terrified of our sister. No. And then we started to hear weird noises because of, from the baby monitor.
Nope. Oh, no. I have a story for after this. Oh, God, okay.
So, you know, the thing is, like, you know, my nephew was getting freaked out by the noises, and he's screaming. So Damien goes, you know what? Fuck this. He just throws the baby monitor.
Yo, I feel that. That's such a mood. Such a vibe.
And, like, our sister ended up being all right. It was just her phone died. But still, we were like...
knowing the track record that you guys have,
Exactly.
I'd be like, oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh, fuck baby monitors, man.
Oh, I know, right?
I have 2 stories with baby monitors. I've been a nanny for my cousins. I took a year off last year, and I'm back again. And they have... When I first started, they had 1 child. Now we're up to 3. They have a playroom in the basement. I have cameras in all the kids' rooms in the basement. And the second youngest, Parker, she's 2. The other day, they have like a loft bed in the playroom that has a slide, and she can get up and down an easy slide. And she was just crying. And she's like, "Come get me." I'm I'm like, okay. So I get downstairs, and this is in the basement. I don't know if I said that. And I grab her. I'm like, it's okay. Like, I'm here. And she goes, shh, she's sleeping, and points to the corner of the room. And I'm like, excuse me. She goes, shh, Paige, she's sleeping. And I was like, who's sleeping? She is right there. And I was like, nope. I was like, Parker and their house is haunted. Like, my cousin and his wife, I've had separate conversations with both of them about how haunted their house is. Like, I've had experiences with their oldest, Jacob, when he was 1 or 2. He'd be sleeping and I'd hear giggles upstairs, but a little girl. And this is when he was the only kid. And I'd hear like what sounds like running up the stairs from the basement or running down the stairs from the top floor. And there's one night that his wife Heidi and we were just talking about ghosts, and all of a sudden we heard what, like, Jacob was asleep, it was like late, heard hard steps running down the stairs, and we both like freaked out. We thought someone got into the house somehow, and we ran. No one's there.
Oh shit.
Front door's locked, baby's still asleep upstairs. So then come to present day with the baby monitor. So I have this, she's sleeping, Parker says. I'm like, okay. I try to ignore it, close all the lights downstairs, put her in her chair. She's going to eat lunch with her siblings. I grab the baby monitor. All the kids are with me in the kitchen. I go to turn it off because it's still in the basement. It's all dark down there, and I just hear like a little voice, like a little girl voice coming from the basement, and I couldn't make out words. And I went, no, thank you. And I turned it off. I literally went, nope. Held the button, made sure it was turned off. And then there was one time, and I'll show a picture after this, I caught what looks like the face of the devil in the baby monitor, and I took a picture of it on my cousin's bed. Cannot explain it. It looks like the face of a devil. Mm-hmm. No clue what it was. I went upstairs. The only thing it could have been on was like a pile of clothes, but
when you went
upstairs, it didn't look like the devil, but on the baby monitor, it went away, and then it came back again.
Oh,
and I was like, no one touched the babies. No one messed with the kids or the animals. I was like, just leave us alone.
Yeah, I hate seeing strange faces on the baby monitor. That's something I don't want to do in my, when I wake up.
Or hear giggling through the baby monitor.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Especially if the baby's right there.
When the baby's right next to me, or they're asleep soundly. When they're soundly asleep and they just hear,
thank you. Next.
Yeah, no.
Nope.
No, thank you. Next.
Nope.
So yeah, on that note, fuck a baby monitor.
Oh, totally.
Oh, I had full chills as soon as you mentioned baby monitor. I was like,
yeah, I knew this was going to be
reaction. I was like, ah.
It's shocking. It's traumatic.
It's like when we brought up Momo with Christian on our episode with my cousin and her boyfriend. We talked about Momo, and our friend Christian was like, nope.
Never need to see that again. No.
He's like, never again. Oh my God.
Well, guys, this has been another amazing episode.
Please come back anytime.
Yeah, please.
This has been awesome.
Yes, I'm having a great time.
Oh, I'm so glad. Holy moly.
Most definitely, we got to do is we can always bring people back to do more stories.
Yeah, that's the best part.
Yeah,
and if you ever want to be on a panel when we read submissions, we read them to people and we all get our own, we'll just react to them. Like the way we reacted to you. So, is there anything you want to shout out? Any social media or anything?
Anything that you got going on?
Yeah, I have a Twitter. I really don't use it much, but I'm starting out with it. My Twitter is @RucciNick.
Perfect. That's easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Okay, Dukes, now we got the big question for you. What are our socials?
Okay. We are @GhostedWCP on Instagram. Now, our Twitter, I can never, ever, and I'm on it constantly, and I never know what it is. I think it's GWCP_pod. Am I right?
I don't know.
That's when we're all grabbing our phones.
Baby.
And I'm not joking. I'm constantly on the Twitter. Like, I'm making friends. We are GWCP_podcast.
Yeah.
Woo! And if you would like to be a guest like Nick was today with us, you can zoom in, you can write in, you can come into studio. Just shoot us an email at ghostedwithcrissandpaige@gmail.com.
Yes.
I am there. I will answer. I promise. I will get to you. And
all I need you guys to do is subscribe to the channel if you're listening on YouTube. Check us out on all of the different streaming platforms. We got SoundCloud, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Deezer, Spotify. Cry. You name it, we got it. Hoobastank. We got it. No. That's a band. Doesn't matter. It's a streaming service now.
Oh man, that music video for that one song was sad.
No, that is Ghosted with Criss and Paige. Guys, have a wonderful night.
Stay spooky.
Thanks again for listening to Scary Time by Indie Drop-In Network. Check out all of Indie Drop-In shows at indiedropin.com. If you would like your show featured, reach out to us at Indie Drop-In on all social media or go to indiedropin.com.